The liberals are feeling the heat on Twitter, aren't they? So why won't they get out of the kitchen? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is another declaration of truth from your host, Terry A. Hurlbut. The last month and a half has clearly shown that liberals can't stand the heat, or can they? If they say they're going to leave Twitter, why are their accounts still live? Perhaps for the same reason those same liberals won't renounce their American citizenship and move to Canada, which is that their networks are still on Twitter and in America, and they don't want to leave them behind. Or maybe because they're just flat out addicted to the platform. Before I dive into this, I do want to shout out to the prime sponsor of this channel, which is Conservative News and Views. Link in the description. Be sure to check out the awesome CNAV Store. Scroll down near the bottom for that link. Lots of great merchandise there, especially this t-shirt that I have chosen for today, which reads, "Wake up, woke down." Of course, that's the trouble with liberals, that liberals now have with Twitter. But again, not enough trouble for most of them to leave. One more thing. If you like what you're about to hear, you can like this video. You can also click the bell icon to get a notice every time I come up with a new one. In fact, do you see the new icon, the heart shape with the US dollar sign in it? That's the super thanks icon. If you really want to keep these videos coming, click that and leave me a tip. Any currency will do, so long as it's legal tender. Now then, last springtime, if you remember, I told you that Elon Musk first talked about buying Twitter. Almost immediately, the liberals took public alarm. Lists of Twitter alternatives began to appear, and some of the headlines would be funny if they weren't flat out mendacious. Take, for example, Janusz Duby's list of the 10 best Twitter alternatives where free speech is respected. I have a link to it in the description, and it appeared in April, and you'll see that included maybe one platform called Minds that truly respects freedom of expression. I can talk about Minds because I have an account on it. Minds allows not safe for work content if the user tags it as such. It does not allow harassment or spam, and certain truly dangerous posts like threats or doxing rate an immediate ban. Other than that, you can talk about anything you please. The worst that happens is that the moderators tag your whole account as not safe for work if you continue to post not safe for work content. But every other platform on that list, like Reddit and especially Mastodon, has a reputation for censorship. Liberals control these platforms, and they use censorship to create a safe space. The Teal Mango has a similar list. I have a link to that in the description also. Minds appears on it as well. So does Gab, but the author does not describe it accurately. In fact, I think her description of Gab was 2 or 3 years out of date even when she wrote it, because that's how long I've been on Gab, since its inception. She totally misrepresents the reasons why the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store threw the Gab app off. She says it's because Gab wouldn't play ball regarding off-color material. Well, number one, Gab did once have a really annoying share of off-color material, but founder Andrew Torba has long since cleaned that off. Second, the 2 app stores banned the app for political reasons. Now, Gab helps you install a browser shortcut and adapts itself to any browser on any platform, so it doesn't need an app. Also in April, Torba proposed that Elon invest in Gab at a fraction of the price he paid for Twitter. In fact, Torba warned Musk that the liberals would all decamp from Twitter if Musk opened up the platform. He said then that liberals can't take free expression of ideas contrary to theirs. That was April. Since then, Twitter accepted the buyout, another thing Torba said they'd never do. Musk tried to lower the price after realizing that so many of the accounts were bots, but in the end he paid the agreed upon price, and every step he has taken has the liberals howling with outrage. Musk fired the executive echelon, and one cadre of liberals did leave, much of the staff. Later, he locked half the workforce out of the servers. That turned out to be a smart move because he discovered evidence of activity that are in breach of the implied contract between platform and user, especially when they made up rules as the moderators went along. First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution by censoring users at the behest of government agencies and arguably the civil law. The Twitter files releases prove this and confirm what The Intercept boasted of, that Twitter has been a state actor. Liberals want all that because the deep state is their friend. So lately, they talk about leaving Twitter, but they don't. Daniel DeVisa at The Hill cited a new scientist study that says they don't. Of more than 140,000 people who threatened to leave, 1.6% actually left. The 98.4% who are not leaving make excuses for not leaving. Before I tell you what kind of excuses they make, I want to shout out to a sponsor who can really help you through the economic storms to come. That sponsor is oursilverlines.com. Do you feel like you're working harder for your money just to get by? You're not alone. The fluctuating economy, employment issues, unexpected changes in life have left many families struggling over the last few years. Collecting gold and silver can help shield you against many of these challenges. But if you're like me many years ago, you don't know where or how to start. Our Silver Lines can help you by connecting you with thousands of members who are learning the secrets to creating and protecting true wealth by collecting precious metals. Now, whether you just want to collect rare and unique coins or take advantage of the business opportunities that company provides, either way, they can help you learn to live an exceptional life. Visit oursilverlines.com to learn how you can build a legacy for your future. So, what kind of excuses do liberals offer for staying on the platform? The Hill cites two kinds. Their networks are still on Twitter, and they receive information not available elsewhere. But for many of them, any information that doesn't support their narrative is misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation. You remember the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency said much the same thing. In fact, America First Legal now confirms that Twitter has its own portal for government agency use, the same as Facebook has. Tellingly, while Andrew Torba was warning Elon Musk that liberals would decamp from Twitter, Newsweek's Ewan Palmer was despairing that liberals could find or build an alternative. He quoted Joshua Tucker at the Center for Social Media and Politics at New York University, saying two things. First, leftists would found platforms only to have people not join. Value zero. Second, Elon Musk would not be able to afford to change Twitter's moderational policies. He was wrong about that. I think he was speaking for himself. He likes the safe space. But that's the real problem. Brandon Morse at Red State notices that the die-hard true believers are already taking over Mastodon and similar platforms, and they are getting other users thrown off for the slightest deviation from the party line. The Chinese Communist Party does things that way, and so did the Communist Party of the Soviet Union in its day. I quote Brandon Morse at the end. People who want to silence others so they can live quietly in their own headspace and hear nothing but what pleases them will eventually stagnate any space they inhabit as they force out everyone else. Unquote Brandon Morse. And that is precisely what was happening to Twitter until Elon took it over. So, what will the liberals do next? I've already observed that Twitter will still have its share of liberals. The most prominent of them, other than Biden administration officials and Democratic members of Congress, might be Rob Reiner. Yes, That Rob Reiner, Michael Stivic Rob Reiner, he dishes out as much liberal snark as ever. But I have yet to find the tweet in which he threatened to quit the platform. I believe he wouldn't want to give conservatives the satisfaction of believing they could drive him off. But at least he doesn't say anything about taking his marbles and going home. I'll give him that. His account is not only live, it's active. And it gives you an interesting glimpse into the liberal mind. I wouldn't want him thrown off. And so far, I haven't caught him breaking the written rules. Other liberals will say that they'll leave, but they won't. They might instead block all but fellow liberals, which is another thing that Rob Reiner doesn't do. At least I don't think he does. And then maybe no one else will hear from them, except those like Rob Reiner, who really believe they have a message to get out. In the meantime, Twitter is livelier than ever because conservatives are joining, they're getting their accounts back, or they're speaking out again now that the arbitrary and capricious moderation with its selective application of the Twitter rules and the enforcement of unwritten rules has ended. Whether liberals want to stay a part of a real public square is their choice. Link in the description to the article, to those two lists of the 10 best Twitter alternatives, such as they were, to my Declaration of Truth Twitter account, and to conservative views and views. I've also left links to the awesome CNAV Store and to oursilverlines.com, as I also mentioned. You know already about how to like a video, turn on notifications, and leave a tip. On the end screen, I'm going to leave a subscribe link to my channel and a link to my big Twitter war playlist. It goes all the way back to Elon Musk's first mention of buying Twitter, to Dr. Steve Turley's video observing how Joy Reid went nuts over the changes Elon is making, and Brandon Tatum's video about the unfriendly reception Elon Musk got when a stand-up comic brought him on his show recently. This is Terry A. Hurlbut delivering another declaration of truth and reminding you to let the truth set you free.